All right. What's happening, dudes? It's a bittersweet kind of video that I'm making right now. I'm selling my Sebenza 31 large for a few reasons, and I want to explain what those reasons are. And you can tell me if you think if you would do the same thing, if you think it's not that big of a deal. Just tell me what you think. So I bought this, let's see, a couple months ago. I've had it for a good couple months. Filmed a cut test with it right when I got it. Performed very nicely. You know, it's a heavy duty work knife, but thin, you know, blade stock on the thinner side. A nice hollow grind, a thin measurement behind the edge. This thing slices very well. It just all around performed very nicely. It's got a real nice sharpening choil, great ergonomics. The inlays are really nice. These are natural micarta inlays. The clip actually worked really well too. I wasn't sure about that when I looked at it, but it worked great. Added my own lanyard just because I thought it looked better than the one it came with. The blade shape's nice, you know, it's a nice dropped down tip with a little belly, kind of perfect for everything, you know. Very kind of well-rounded blade shape. Action, very, very solid feeling, and you know, definitely a slow roller. Feels very, very tight in the pivot. It's smoothened up a little bit since I've gotten it. I took it apart and lubed it well, and it's gotten a little bit smoother, but it's still quite stiff. That's just me thumb flicking it. If I give it a little bit of a wrist, I can get it to thumb flick, but I mostly just slow rolled it. Now, let's get to the reasons why I'm selling it. The number one reason, the biggest reason, is it has lock rock. What I mean by that is, push on the spine, you can feel it moving this way. This way. Not this way, but this way. So it's not a tightness of the pivot problem, it's in the lock bar here. Now, Chris Reeve decided to do something different on this knife, and that is, usually there's a steel lock bar insert here on the lock bar, and that's what interacts with the tang of the blade. It's not titanium on steel, it's the steel on steel. It's the insert that's actually touching the surface of the tang of the blade in there. On this knife, it's actually the detent ball itself that is the thing touching the blade, not the lock bar at all. And it's sitting up above this edge a little bit. I'm not sure why he decided to do that. Maybe so they didn't need a steel lock bar insert. For whatever the reason is, it causes a little bit of lock rock, and it's very minimal. It is very minimal, but it's there. You can even hear it. Let me see if I can. I don't know if you'll be able to hear that. I don't think it's probably not a real practical issue. Like, I don't think this is gonna disengage while I'm using it. I've never heard of that happening. I think that would be a big deal if that started happening. So it's not like I'm afraid it's gonna disengage while I'm using it. You don't notice it as you're using it. You only notice it if you just put pressure on the spine. I didn't even realize it until I had already owned the knife for like a month or two. Somebody in the comments said, hey, push on the spine, it's got lock rock. And I was like, whoa, what the hell? And I tried it, and sure enough, it did. And so it's a problem with all of these. All the Sebenza 31s, I believe, have that lock rock. So it's not actually going to disengage. It's not a real problem. It just kind of bothers me. You know, it's like, it's a weird thing because the knife feels super duper solid. You know, the sound the lock wire makes, it just slams over into position. It feels great. It feels so solid. But then it's not that solid when it's locked out. It's odd. So that's the main reason. I don't like it. I don't like that it does that. The next reason is, and this is not as big a reason at all, but taking this knife out of your pocket, opening it, cutting with it, and then closing the knife, and then putting it back in your pocket takes quite a bit longer than, I don't know, say whatever I'm carrying today is Mannix 2. You flick it out, you cut, you put it away, you put it in your pocket. This takes a minute. Not an actual minute, but it takes, you gotta slow roll it out, cut, you gotta disengage, and put it back in. And, I mean, I carry slip joints, so obviously it's not something that I really care about, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, for my main knife, my main carry, I always have a locking knife and a slip joint. For my main knife, I think I like it to be a little bit faster, to pull out, deploy, cut, disengage, put the knife away, put it back in the pocket. I like it to be quicker, I think. And then if I'm doing something where I want to use the slip joint, I always carry a different blade shape in my slip than I do in my main knife, so I have options. Then it's not that big a deal. I pull the slip out, take the slip joint out, cut with it, put it back. But like I said, for my main knife, I like to be a little faster. And those are kind of the only real issues. The first one is the main one. This being slow to deploy. If that was the only thing I didn't like about the knife, I would still use it. I would definitely wouldn't sell it. But the lock rock is a big one for me. I know that the Inkosi and the Umnumzan and what's the other one? I can't remember. But I'm pretty sure the Sebenza 31 is the only one that does this. The only one that has the problem. So it's not all Chris Reeve knives, it's just these. I really can't think of anything else I dislike about the knife. I wish it was smoother right out of the box. And I know, yes, it'll break in. But I've had the knife for like 4 months and it's gotten barely smoother. So I think it takes quite a long time for it to get really smooth. I wish it came a little bit smoother. It was very easy to disassemble. I will say that about it. It was very easy to disassemble. Everything just went back perfectly how it was supposed to be. You tighten down the pivot until it doesn't tighten anymore, and then you're done. You're not like fiddling with it, tightening it up a little bit, realizing it's too stiff, and then backing it off a little bit, realizing you have big blade play, and then tightening it back up. None of that. You tighten it until it stops, and then you're good. So that's kind of cool. The quality of the MagnaCut blade steel seemed to be fine. No real complaints. Another thing I didn't love is this lanyard Postdeal. If there's not a lanyard on it, it rattles. You can still kind of hear it. That was kind of annoying. I initially took off the lanyard that came with, and I wasn't gonna have any lanyard on it, but then it was rattling. It would really loud rattle. So that's one reason why I put this on. Also, I think it looks pretty good, but and you could probably just take that out, take that whole post out, and then it wouldn't rattle. But that's just a little nitpicky thing. And that's pretty much it. So I'm selling this knife. Hit me up if you're interested. I paid $600 for it, brand new, in MagnaCut, and the inlaid, the natural micarta inlaid version, $600. Hit me up if you're interested. It's not going to be $600. I'll probably charge $500. I'll ask $500 at first. There's really no scratches on it at all, except for a few on the clip. And if you bought it, you could always send it in for a spa treatment and get that taken right off for free. But there's really no issues aside from that. The blade's perfect. There's no scratches anywhere, no nicks in the blade. Very nice and sharp and perfect. So hit me up if you're interested, and let me know your thoughts. If you think it's not really big a deal, if you think I should hang on to this and keep it, just let me know what you think. All right, that's it, folks. Adios. Like the video.